Hey guys, crew of Blondwave, I'm Eric.
And I'm Calvin.
Calvin, we're going to do something a little different today.
A little bit different.
You have not seen Game of Thrones.
Any of it.
One of the best television shows and best fantasy novels I've ever read or seen. Or experienced, or loved, because I do love this.
I've heard you and Aaron talk. You love it very much.
It's all over the place. Everybody talks about it. I don't know how you haven't seen it.
I've tried to keep myself away from it as much as possible.
Yeah.
So that I'm not ruined. And that when I jump into it, I'm fully immersed.
Well, just like Dragon Ball Z, we're going to show you watching something that a lot of people love for the first time. Yeah. So you guys need to strap in because we got 5 seasons of Game of Thrones to go through.
That's like 50 episodes, right?
It's 10 episodes a season.
Sheesh, that's
But
as many as Dragon Ball Z.
So Calvin has not seen it or read it. I've seen it, I've read it, so I'm going to be your captain on this voyage.
My tour guide.
I'm a walking Game of Thrones encyclopedia.
Right.
So we're going to delve deep into the lore. You know, I know you're a huge Tolkien fan.
Oh, yeah.
So I know you're going to love this. You know, a lot of people talk about how Tolkien was the beginning of modern fantasy. And people talk about how George Martin is the end of modern fantasy.
The end?
The end as in like...
It sounds like there's going to be no more.
It's like this is what Tolkien started, you know?
Right.
And this is kind of how he like closes the book on how modern fantasy, quote unquote, should be done. Alright? Now, while it takes place in a fantasy world, it's very much based on real motivations. Real, you know, there's no
political motivation.
Yeah, there's no Dark Lord in this series. There's no Sauron the Dark One, you know. There's no Melkor. There's no Darth Vader. There's no
ultimate evil single character. They're all just kind of bad, good in their own way.
I'm very interested to see how we watch this thing. Yeah. All right, so make sure you guys strap in. Make sure you tell all of your friends that like Game of Thrones. It's going to be really fun to watch. So here we go. This is episode 1. Winter is coming.
I've seen that on so many memes.
Let's see what it's about.
Okay. So this is the pilot episode?
This is the pilot. This is the very first. This is actually the very first scene from the book too.
Okay. So this is very much establishing like the mood. Winter is coming. Looks like it's already here.
Where though?
Well, that's true. That's an awesome place to have like a base, you know?
What do you think it is?
Some kind of
This is great. You know,
prison, maybe?
You know nothing. I love it. I love it so much.
I don't know anything. I mean, it could be like a giant wall that is just been hewn away for many hundreds of years.
Very big wall.
It is. They went separate directions. Are they hunting?
See, I love it because I know all the answers. I'm not going to tell you.
I know. Very sneaky. Shit.
Did you get?
Close as any man would.
We should head back to the wall.
So it is a wall.
Are the dead frighten you? Oh.
You glowing eyes.
Same little girl we saw dead.
They're super fast. Wow. Big guy.
There's your opening scene. And here's your title theme. Yep. Well, this is the world of Westeros. And the cool thing about this this theme or this map is that every episode it'll show you like the main places and where characters are in relation to each other. Because this is an entire world. They're separated by hundreds of miles sometimes thousands.
Wow.
And this kind of gives you an idea of roughly where everybody is.
Cool.
And if you pay attention, you can see like sigils, like certain animals that belong to certain houses, you know, that they put on their flags. And their histories are represented on that thing, where you can see like the different houses fighting each other.
Right.
But what's this thing?
Seems like a wall.
A wall. A wall 700 feet high and 1,000 miles long. I wonder what they have that for.
Probably to keep the Scots out.
The what?
The Scots out.
The Scots out?
From the Northlands. I love the very mechanical animatronic
it's also,
kind of building.
It's also an inverted globe, so like it's like the globe's on the inside of this, you know, so you never see the sky. I really like it.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. That way, no matter where you look, you can always see something.
It's Braveheart.
Pretty much.
Or Rob Roy.
Same guy.
He's alive.
So if you remember from the map, we're in the north, below the wall, but in the north.
And
your mother.
ah, Boromir.
You won't be a boy forever. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming is the words of House Stark. That's like their motto. Always be ready, because winter is coming.
Like the Boy Scouts.
Kind of.
They're all Starks.
They're all Starks. Well, yes. We'll explain more as it's revealed.
Bloodstained log.
He said he's a deserter from the Night's Watch.
I saw what I saw. I saw the White Walkers. They put me to my
White Walkers.
Jeez. You understand why I did it?
John said he was a deserter.
But do you understand why I had to kill him?
Oh, where's the old way?
The man who passes the sentence should swing the sword.
Is it true he saw the White Walkers?
So they don't believe that White Walkers are real. Or still around.
They just have a bunch of stories about something that might have happened. They don't know. All they know is a giant wall.
And it's put there for a reason.
Look at the size of it, though.
I know, it's like a dire wolf.
It's a freak. It's a dire wolf.
I know my D&D.
The dire wolf is the sigil of House Stark.
There are 5 pups. One for each of the Stark children.
So that guy isn't one of his sons?
We'll train them.
He has 5 true-born children. John's a bastard.
Ah.
What is it?
rum to the litter. That one's yours, Snow.
Jon Snow is Eddard's son, but it's not Catelyn's son, or Catelyn's son. Right, this is King's Landing. This is the capital of Westeros. Westeros used to be 7 separate kingdoms, and they were all united. So now they call them the 7 Kingdoms.
Okay.
And King's Landing is the capital of those kingdoms.
Oh, who's that guy? That guy's badass. Look at that.
Yep.
Got fat. I would let his whole tribe fuck you. All 40,000 men and their horses too, if that's what it took.
Be a good king.
I sense they'll have problems later on.
Nope. It'll be perfect.
Everything will be fine.
Did I offend you? Sorry.
Doesn't sound sorry.
You are the bastard, though. I don't fight in tournaments. Just want to fight a man for reals. I don't have to know what I can do. Well said.
And her husband was murdered.
Scars on his chest. Warrior.
That's a buddy me its own. Just rip the guy out.
Is that Jason Momoa?
Yep.
That's what I said. Okay.
Not rocky wedding without his 3 deaths is considered a dumb affair.
3. Wow.
God be good, I hope to always serve the rightful king.
He's got an awesome voice.
Ages have turned them to stone, but they will always be beautiful.
Fossilized.
Thank you, Magister. Sir Jorah, I don't know how to say thank you to Frankie.
There is no word for thank you, Odilfrey.
He's got a punchable face, doesn't he?
Oh, I know. I was just thinking that.
Stop!
You know who they are?
They're brother and sister.
Twins.
The things they do for love.
Episode 1, Calvin. What do you think? Kinda gross, huh?
The people that I like haven't proved that they're worthy of being liked.
What do you mean?
Well, I like the Starks. So far, I'm not disliking the personality of the king,
Robert Baratheon?
Baratheon.
Yeah.
All the others that you're not supposed to like,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't
You
like.
definitely don't like. See, that's the beauty of Game of Thrones, because you will be challenged in your initial impressions, I think.
Yes, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, so far, somewhat like. His name reminds me of Tyrant.
Tyrion?
Tyrion.
The imp?
Yes,
Yeah.
the imp.
Yeah. Yeah, he's likable. I think it's a good assessment. You're supposed to just kind of enjoy him, you know?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with everything he does, but you can enjoy, you know, a
I
lot.
like the character a lot, just
Mhm.
because he doesn't like being in the spotlight.
True, yeah. I mean, he's very confident, but you can definitely tell he's aware of his own insecurities.
Yeah.
And like what he said to John, he uses those.
Wear them as armor, that way no one can ever hurt you.
Yep, exactly. It's like if I walk into a room of people I don't know and make a fat joke about myself, and then everybody's, oh, you know?
Yeah.
One of those things where it's like, I'll make a joke about me being deaf, you know, in one ear, and then no one can ever say anything that's going to hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm self-deprecating in that way.
Yeah.
You know, Tyrion knows he has strengths that are, you know, he's the clever one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus the pretty one, like Jaime. So how do you feel about, let's go through a couple characters, Jon Snow.
Jon Snow is
Yeah.
definitely, he wants to be a good man. He wants to
Mhm.
make his father proud. He still has to hold on to the shame that he brings to the family.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was
He
saying,
carries it with good grace.
yeah, he does. I was saying this earlier, like, bastards don't inherit their parents' names. So, like, if you're in the north, all bastards are called their name, Snow. If you're in the Stormlands, your last name is Storm. If you're in the Riverlands, your last name is River. If you're, you know, it depends on where you're from, that's what they name you. Like, 'cause
Right.
you don't have a family, but you do have a country,
Right.
you know? So that's Jon Snow, and we'll, as we go, we'll meet more bastards with different names and stuff like that. But so Jon kind of wants to go to the wall with his uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah. In these great houses that have like multiple children, you know, the first couple children will be the ones that will inherit the lands, but then you have like younger siblings, like Eddard's younger brother,
Mm-hmm.
that end up going to the wall just because there's nothing for them really to inherit. You know what I'm saying? And we'll learn more about that process as the show goes on. We also have everything going on the other side of the sea.
Right.
In Essos, it's called.
Is Pentos or Essos
So there's
part of the Seven Kingdoms?
No, there's. If I'm doing it here, there's Westeros, right,
Okay.
which the Seven Kingdoms are in. Then there's the Wall, and then there's the Land of Always Winter
Okay.
above the Wall. And then there's a thing called the Narrow Sea, and then there's a whole other continent that's
Okay.
not connected at all, and that is Pentos, Essos, and all the they call them the Free Cities.
Okay.
Because they don't have kings. They have ruling bodies of their own.
So they're like city-states,
Mm-hmm.
kind of.
Now, just to give a little tiny bit of a history lesson, because they do go through this in the show, but it's easier to just kind of know about it and then see the little clues.
Right.
There were 7 separate kingdoms in Westeros, right? And then from the east, in a land called Valyria, came Aegon Targaryen, the Conqueror, with 3 dragons. And it said that he united he conquered all 7 kingdoms. He made them all swear fealty to him. He melted their swords down and created an iron throne. And then we saw that one shot of that throne made of swords. And that happened 300 years ago.
Okay.
Right? So the Targaryens ruled for all that time until there was the king called the Mad King. That's Viserys and Daenerys' father, right? And he was insane. He was burning people alive. And by this time, the dragons are gone. You know, they're a legend. You know, they still have these giant skulls, but, you know, it's just one of those things that's kind of like White Walkers. No one really believes.
Right.
We don't worry about them anymore. You know what I'm saying?
They haven't been seen,
They haven't been seen.
we claim they don't exist or hope they don't exist.
In a way, dragons are a little bit more. They're a little more solid in the sense that they still have some skulls and stuff.
Right.
But the last dragon was like the size of a cat. You know, they inbred and they eventually died out.
So it's like unicorns versus dinosaurs.
In a way, yeah, exactly. And then so anyway, the Mad King ends up burning people. He pisses off the wrong people. Robert Baratheon, who is somewhat related to the Targaryens, decides to rebel. It's called Robert's Rebellion. He recruits Eddard, and those two successfully create a civil war, and he wins, right? There's a lot of stuff that happens there, but the only piece of information we know right now is that Robert loved Eddard's sister, and a Targaryen stole her, and she ended up dying. So that's all we know from that information.
Okay.
And we know that Targaryen children of the Mad King were able to flee across the ocean, and that guy is trying to get back. So that's the small history lesson for right now, and that's very, very, very broad. There's a lot of moving details, and we'll learn more about it as it goes. But this show is called Game of Thrones. It never really stops, right? As you can kind of tell, there are subtle, you know, yeah, it's political and it's dramatic and stuff like that, but the mythology, which I really love, is still in there, and we'll see how it goes from there. All right?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, I'm just kind of trying to take it all in.
Yeah, and then, you know,
So much.
and then we just had straight up twincest.
Right. Twincest and then
Child
immediate
murder.
child murder.
Yep. So.
Straight into that. No breather.
Mm-hmm.
No like, oh, that just happened.
Yep.
And then
And that's the end.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. That was episode 1 of Game of Thrones.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. So make sure you guys are subscribed and that you like the show, because what we'll probably do is we might release like 2 of these a week, and we'll do that as a build up until the next season of Game of Thrones comes on, and maybe Calvin can join us for those.
Yeah.
So that'll be a lot of fun. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you put it down in the comments below. Maybe a couple other shows if you might be interested in watching us. You know, Calvin, you know, you've seen a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff you haven't seen.
There's a lot of stuff I haven't seen.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and this is kind of like our first episode of what we're calling Calvin Catches Up. Yeah. He's already been catching up to Dragon Ball Z, and you guys say that you've responded in a big way about that, so we'll see what else we can do. But for right now, I'm pretty happy with how Game of Thrones is going to go. I can't wait to start getting into the real meat of this series. Right now, it's like a lot of setup, and it's a lot of learning about characters. So this is
vegetables?
Yeah, this is a
shit.
A mouge appetizer until what you're gonna get, my friend.
Gosh.
All right.
So this isn't even cooked yet.
It's not even cooked. They haven't even started the fire yet.
Ah.
All right, guys, it's gonna be everything. I'm Eric.
I'm Calvin.
We'll see you guys next time.